Development of the special senses. The intended learning objectives of this lecture, we will discuss the development of the structures of the special senses, but I will only include the development of the eyes and the ears. I will be discussing a little on the brain vesicles, and there will be a correlation of common congenital anomalies associated with the development of these structures. Let's begin with the development of the eye. As a review class, you'll know that there are 3 dilatations that are formed of the neural tube. And these are the prosencephalon, the mesencephalon, and the rhombencephalon. And class, we all know that the prosencephalon, which is also called the forebrain, will develop, has 2 parts, the telen and the diencephalon. Whereas the mesencephalon will retain its name, and it is also known as the midbrain. The rhombencephalon has 2 parts, the meten and the myelencephalon. I hope you still remember the mnemonics to remember if it is mesen, meten, or myelen. Remember the mnemonics, which is STY. So it's mesen, meten, and myelencephalon. Okay. So the development of the eye begins at week 4 intrauterine. Now, the development of the eye is derived from 4 sources. And what are these 4 sources? The neuroectoderm of the forebrain, the surface ectoderm of the head, of course, mesoderm, and neural crest cells. Okay, I have here tabulated the derivatives. Please do not mistake that this one is related to each other. Ito, no? No. I just tabulated this to show that these are the derivatives of the neuroectoderm. And then we have derivatives of the surface ectoderm. And then so on. Okay? So the derivatives of neuroectoderm are the neural retina, also known as the pigment epithelium, the retinal pigment epithelium, iris epithelium, choroid body epithelium, iris muscles, and the optic nerve. Whereas the surface ectoderm will bring about those structures that appear to be in the anterior portion of the eyeball. No? So the lens, of course, is included, and the corneal epithelium, that is the more anterior portions that are derived from the surface ectoderm. Mesoderm, you just remember M and M there. And we also have the derivatives of the neural crest, which are choroid, the sclera, and the corneal endothelium. Mind you, class, corneal epithelium is different from corneal endothelium. Okay, magkaiba sila. Now we begin with the development of the eye. And I have this mnemonic, class. Remember that the eye develops at the level of the die, no? The diencephalon. Okay, so eye, die. Do not forget. Okay, so on each side of the forebrain at the level of the diencephalon, we can see there the developing eye. Okay, so remember, class, eye. Now, as I have mentioned, the development of the eye happens during week 4 intrauterine, specifically day 22. Okay, so during day 22 or 20 days intrauterine, there is the development of the optic grooves, no? So this is, class, this one is what we call the optic grooves here. Okay, this is at the level of the forebrain, specifically at the level of the diencephalon. So these are the neural folds forming the forebrain. And we can appreciate here, class, the optic grooves. Okay, these are the optic grooves, one on each side of the forebrain. And as we can see here, class, there is a continuous, no? There will be a continuous growth or development of these structures, and eventually, class, this will close, okay? So we see now a closed forebrain here, and the optic groove that was once present a while ago is already closed, forming what we call the optic vesicle. So one on each side. So this class is already, actually, specifically, this portion is the optic vesicle. Now we can appreciate here the contact between the optic vesicle and the surface ectoderm here. So this is the surface ectoderm. With contact of the optic vesicle with the surface ectoderm, there will be a thickening on this portion here. This thickening is what we call the lens placode. Okay, so this is the lens placode, which is actually the primordium of the crystalline lens. Okay, so pag sinabi natin class primordium, that is daan lagi. Saan nanggaling? Okay, pinagmulan. So there is a definition of term here. What is a placode? No? Placode in part na yan, class, that is the lens placode. And a placode, being a local thickening, is also the source of sensory organ, very specific siya, no? Or a ganglion. Ectoderm that will eventually develop into a sensory organ. Okay, so we have terms here such as optic groove, optic vesicle, and the lens placode. Okay. Now, again, we begin at day 22. Paulit-ulit ko sinasabi na tatandaan niya. Come now the optic vesicles. These optic vesicles, together with the lens placode, will invaginate or will sink below the surface ectoderm. So pag nakita ninyo, class, pag nag-invaginate siyang ganyan, together with the lens placode, there is another structure that is developed. And this is the optic cup. Actually, it is defined or described as a double layered optic cup. Now, so we have an optic groove becoming the optic vesicle, and then eventually the optic cup. Okay, optic cup came from class the optic groove. Okay. So this is a very nice picture to show what I have just been talking about a while ago. So develop yung optic vesicle from the optic groove. Then this one becomes the optic vesicle. And then this optic vesicle touches the surface ectoderm. And with this contact, there will be thickening of the lens. There will be thickening of this area, becoming the lens placode. Class, look at this, no? With further invagination, ang sabi ko kanina, there will be the development of the double-layered optic cup. Also, there is this development of what we call the lens pit. Diba? Yung lens placode, nag-sink in siya, nag-invaginate siya. So there is the development of the lens pit. Now, this double-layered optic cup will be the future retinal pigment epithelium and the neural retina. And what are these? The outer layer, outer thinner layer becomes the retinal pigment epithelium. Okay? And then the inner thicker becomes the other 9 layers of the retina, also known as the neural retina. Okay? And aside from that, class, the lens placode becomes the lens pit and eventually will develop to form the lens vesicle. Okay? So that is the development of the eye. And aside from those structures I mentioned, no? The optic cup, okay, yan yung 2-layered na yan, ano? Ibang itsura niya dito sa picture, ito yung 2-layered optic cup, no? But this time, there is another structure that is being introduced here, the choroid fissure dito, okay? So this choroid fissure, if there is a failure in its development, nagkakaroon ng congenital anomaly dyan. Now, also in this picture, we can see another structure, the optic stalk. So the optic stalk, this is the one that is connected to the brain, no? So it's the brain siya, okay? So this one, class, you can predict that it will eventually become the optic nerve, yung optic stalk. And if we cut through this portion here, we can see a cross section of that structure, and we can appreciate the different structures such as the outer layer, the thinner one, the thicker inner layer, the hyaloid artery, and this portion here. That is what we call the choroid fissure. Okay. These are just pictures that we have in the laboratory. Kung nagkaroon tayo ng face-to-face, titignan yung under the microscope, you can appreciate here these pictures. Okay? So this is the double-layered optic cup. Yan, yung invagination, no? If this is just still an invagination, class, this portion here is the lens pit. Okay? So this is the optic cup, and then this one na, yan, na-form na yung crystal, yung lens dito. Okay? This picture is just nice to know. Parang paulit-ulit lang, no? Look at it, just read on it. Okay? For you to understand kung saan nanggaling and whatnot. Pero class, please do not study much yung mga, dito, yung mga terms dito. Okay? Okay. There are two genes that I will just mention here, no? PAX6 and PAX2. These are genes, these are key, PAX6 is the key regulatory gene for eye development, okay? And PAX2 specifically, it regulates the optic stalk development. Let's go now to the congenital anomalies, no? First is coloboma. Remember yung sinabi ko sa inyong choroid fissure? Okay. Coloboma is a congenital defect, no, that occurs if the choroid fissure fails to close. Okay, it's a fissure, no, and then if it does not close, it becomes like this, no. It is known as a catch-up. It has something to do with PAX-X, okay, because it is connected. Yung area na yan, yung sa choroid fissure, connected with, it is part of, connected, with the optic nerve. The development has something to do with the optic nerve. Okay? So, let's see here. Congenital cataract. Causes congenital cataracts. But it was learned later on, no? Maswerte tayo that people have discovered that it is very common in mothers, pregnant mothers, having contracted rubella or the German measles during the first 3 months of pregnancy. Remember, class, the development, diba, is on the 4th week. Okay? Kung nagkaroon man ng sakit yung mother during this time, the first 3 months or the first trimester of pregnancy, organogenesis happens during this first 3 months. So, kung nagkaroon ng rubella, tapos ito ang mga detrimental effect niya actually. Class, pag kunyari, it's an adult who contracts rubella, not a pregnant person or kahit na sino will be diagnosed with rubella or German measles. This is not very detrimental. Para lang siyang magkakaroon ka ng flu-like symptoms, magkakaroon ng mga maculopapular rashes, ganyan, lymph node enlargement, pero not so bad because it's a viral infection. It will go out on its own. Gagaling, no? Self-limiting. But if the person or if the female contracts it during the first 3 months, yun ang nakakatakot. Okay? So, ang ginagawa ngayon, binibigyan na rin ng mga shots ang mga pregnant mothers para yung hindi pa nagkakaroon ng rubella nung bata sila, okay? Binibigyan ng mga booster shots yan, I think, no? So, ngayon, what are congenital cataracts? As you can see, there's an opacity of the lens dito, no? There is an opacity of the lens dyan. Okay? Next, microphthalmia. The eye is too small. The eyeball will just be about 2/3 of its normal volume. Okay? It can result, again, from intrauterine infections, no? Toxoplasmosis and cytomegalovirus. So ito yung pinaka-common congenital anomaly associated with these infections. Okay? Anophthalmia, A means without. So ang nakalagay dito, it's an absence of the eye. Okay? And aside from being absent, no, yung eye, absence of the eye, this defect is also accompanied by other cranial abnormalities. Okay? Congenital aniridia, this is absence of the iris. It's stated here, class, that mutations in PAX6 may result in these 3 congenital anomalies: aniridia, anophthalmia, and microphthalmia. Okay? Next, aphakia, congenital aphakia, that is absence of the lens. And then some bizarre pictures, no? Cyclopia, the eyes are partially or completely fused. Okay? And then class, meron din tinatawag na synophthalmia. This is fusion of the eyes already, no? So class, yung mga ganitong itsura, very bizarre, ganyan, ano, they're accompanied by other congenital anomalies. So you can predict that once born, babies may die intrauterine, or if they are born alive, they will still succumb to death, no? Because maraming kasamang ibang congenital anomalies ito. Okay? So we're done with the development of the eyes. Let's go to the development of the ear. You've been taught, probably in gross, na pag-usapan na ninyo, no, that there are 3 parts of the ear. And these 3 parts have different origins. Okay? So, class, medyo konti lang, medyo may memorizing yung mga days, no? So the development of the ear happens again on the 4th week intrauterine, and it specifically happens on day 22. Okay? Now, what do we see here? It begins with a thickening of the ectoderm. Nakita ninyo, there is thickening of the ectoderm, and we call it the otic placode. Yan, placode. Narinig nyo na naman, class, no? Placode is a thickening that eventually will develop into one of the special senses. Okay? So the otic placode is found on each side, this time not on the diencephalon, but at the level of the rhombencephalon, specifically myelencephalon. Okay? Now, if there is an otic placode, so yan, may thickening dito, class, ano? There is thickening here. Okay? And eventually, if there is thickening with further development, there is invagination. And further invagination will enable this structure to close on its own. So this results in the formation of what we call the otic vesicle. The otic vesicle is also known as the otocyst, and this is the primordium or the anlage, specifically of the internal ear. Okay? So ito yung class, so bigger picture to show us that there is the thickening first as the otic placode. Take note, class, it's otic placode. And then with further invagination, there is a pit, the otic pit that develops there. There will be closing with further development. And this area here, the otic vesicle, also known as the otocyst, becomes the anlage of the internal ear. Also, I'd like to show you here the pharyngeal pouch. Yan, yung pharyngeal pouch. The pharyngeal pouch, together with this ossicular condensations here, will develop into the middle ear. Whereas this portion here, it will become the future external ear. Now, let's talk about the internal ear. Huh? Just to emphasize on this otic vesicle. So yung otic vesicle or otocyst, it is the primordium of the internal ear. So the otic vesicle will divide into two parts. The dorsal part, this portion here, and the ventral part, itong portion na yan. So class, nakita natin with development, ayan ang mga itsura niya. Okay? So, the dorsal part, ito, or the utricular part, becomes the utricle, the semicircular ducts, and the endolymphatic duct. Okay? Whereas the ventral portion, this portion here, it will become the saccule and the cochlear duct. Okay? Now, what do we have here? So with further development on the 6th week, no, the cochlear duct is formed. And inside this cochlear duct, there is the formation of what we call the organ of Corti. Okay? So initially also, the semicircular canals appear as these flattened out pocketings here. Okay? In the utricular part of the otic vesicle. Now we go to the middle ear, no? So the middle ear, as I have shown you kanina, yung primitive pharynx, ano, yung yellow structure. So this one, class, this is where the development of the middle ear happens. Okay? So the development first of the tubotympanic recess, ito yung portion na yan, no? It originates from the endoderm. So the middle ear actually is derived from the first pharyngeal pouch. Di magiging ano siya, primitive pharynx, okay? And the first pharyngeal pouch, which develops from the pharyngeal pharynx, okay, the primitive pharynx, I'm sorry, will produce or will the following will be derived: the proximal part and the distal part of the middle ear. So the proximal part, pag sinabing proximal, near the body, no? So which is nearer? This portion here or this portion here? So the nearer part or the proximal part of the middle ear is the pharyngotympanic tube, the eustachian tube. Okay? And then we also have the distal part, itong portion na yan, that is the tympanic cavity, thus creating what we know now as the middle ear. Okay? Don't worry, class, meron akong tabulation of the Anlage and Fate. Okay? Also, as part of the middle ear, we have the ossicles, the malleus, the incus, and the stapes. Okay? Ito yung kanilang mga Anlage. Okay. So this picture will show us, so ito nga yung middle ear. Okay? We're done with that. We're done with this also, yung the middle ear. This is the internal ear. I'm sorry, the middle ear. And then we also have what we call the external ear here. Remember, class, the tympanic membrane is part of the external ear. Ang middle ear, ito lang siya, ha? We have the tympanic cavity, and also we have here the tubotympanic canal. Okay? Let's go to the external ear. The external ear develops first the external acoustic meatus. Okay, yung tube. Okay, it is the dorsal end of the first pharyngeal groove or cleft. Meaning to say, dun siya nanggaling. Okay, yung external acoustic meatus. What about the eardrum? Yung eardrum, sikat yan, ano? Pero class, please just remember and take note only, no? That the eardrum, napakaliit niya, okay? But it comes from the 3 germ layers, namely the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and the endoderm. Yun na lang ang tandaan ninyo, okay? That the eardrum is a combination of the 3 germ layers. The development of the external ear, or also known as the auricle or the pinna, develops from this, the 6 mesenchymal proliferations. Okay? So ito yung 6 mesenchymal proliferations. Wait, class. Ito siya. It is numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And class, these 6 proliferations will bring about 6 parts of the auricle, namely the tragus. So yun siya. The second one develops to become the helix. The third portion of the auricular hillock becomes a triangular fossa, this portion here. And then the fourth and the fifth becomes the concha, ito siya, this portion there. And the sixth one, the sixth auricular hillock, becomes the future antitragus. Okay? So isa-isa silang yan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 auricular hillocks will develop to become the auricle or the pinna. Okay? So class, pag sinabing nandito yung skin tag, kunyari nagka-problema dyan sa portion na yan, ma-identify nyo kagad, baka yung first auricular hillock ang mali ang development. Okay? So, to make things easier for you, I have already tabulated the fate and anlage of what I just discussed regarding the development of the internal, the middle ear, the external auditory meatus, and the auricle. Ito na lang ang tandaan ninyo. Okay? So these are the different congenital anomalies. No? So first is, there could be congenital hearing loss, no, with failure of development, pwedeng failure of development of the membranous or bony labyrinths. There will be malformations of the auditory ossicles or the eardrum. In extreme cases, walang tympanic cavity, walang external meatus, no? Congenital hearing loss could also be secondary to even a lot of factors. Okay? Now, external ear defects will include this one. Nausea, it could be the absence of the auricle, nawala no? And microtia, kagaya nito, no? There is a small or rudimentary auricle. Okay. What else? There could be absence of the external acoustic meatus. Class, nakita nyo walang butas dito. So absence of the external acoustic meatus. So kung walang butas yan, hindi siya makakarinig. Okay? And then class, this one, we call this auricular appendages or skin tags, no? Ear skin tags, kasi marami kayong pwede maging skin tags, no? These are ear skin tags, also known as auricular appendages. And what is affected here dito sa portion ng tragus? So you can predict now, it is the first auricular hillock that there was a failure to develop. Okay? So these are other pictures of ear defects, no, ng auricle. Okay? This one, class, will just define as na ito pala, class, mini-measure pala yan, ano? Meron na dapat nandito yung ear, no? But anyway, I just found out this one when I saw this picture, no? Low set slanted ear. Okay? Na it should be at the auricle, the margin of the auricle. It should be at the level inferior to the horizontal plane through the corner of the iPad. Okay? So you just call this the low slanted ear. And lastly, class, there is this syndrome called the mandibulofacial dysostosis, also known as Stretcher-Collins syndrome. This is a malformation due to disturbed development of neural crest cells. Okay. So class, ito lang pinapakita na naka hearing aid yung mga patients before, no? Ngayon ang mga hearing aids in-ear na sila. Anong problema with Stretcher-Collins syndrome? It is seen in 1 in 10,000 births. There is a failure to migrate of the neural crest cells into the first pharyngeal arch. Ano yung mga nagiging problema dito? Speech and swallowing problems, vision problems, no? There will be hearing problems. Kaya yung picture kanina, meron siyang hearing aid. And there will also be airway and breathing disturbances related to small lower jaw. Okay, class? Thank you. And that ends my lecture.